Hey guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling, and appreciate you guys joining me for today's video and hanging with me a little bit. Got a nice on the water video for y'all today, guys. I'm going to show you about flipping bushes, flipping flooded bushes when the water's up. We have got a great example here. You can see down this bank here, water's about probably 2 or 3 feet high on the lake I'm on right now. Got a bunch of nice flooded bushes. And I want to sort of go over the nuances and the subtleties and the detail about what to look for when you're flipping flooded cover, because it's an art form, guys. It's not as simple as just going up and flipping into a bush. You have to be able to read the bush. You have to be able to determine the best lure categories, the best size, the best weight, all that type of stuff. There's a lot to it. So I'm going to give you guys some good tips and advice on this little on the water video here. Also, guys, one of the best bush flipping baits you can have is a jig, guys. This is my Blaukat Throwback jig, a living rubber hand-tied skirt, which is the best flipping jig material for flipping. I'll put my Blaukat Throwback jig link in the description of this video. You can get one through my Tackle Warehouse link there. We got 7 different colors, 3 different sizes. That's my favorite bait for flipping bushes. So what I'm going to do here, guys, is I'm going to turn the camera around here a second. I'm going to go down through here. Now, one of the things about it, before I turn the camera around, it's like their flipping is a true art form, because one of the things that makes flipping so difficult, and why I've got so much respect for the technique, is that you're close to the fish. It's like, this isn't where you're casting way out there. A lot of times you're flipping like 10 foot away from the boat, so you have to be aware, you have to be stealthy, you have to be quiet, your presentation has to be right. So everything, it's almost like sort of hunting a little bit, hunting for fish. And there's nothing more exciting than catching a bass on 10-foot line. That's just super fun to do that when they get up in this thick, heavy cover. So let me turn the camera around here, guys. I'm gonna run you down through here and sort of point out what I look for when I'm flipping bushes. So here, guys, here's a great example of a bank that's got a lot of flooded bushes on it. Now, when you have high water like this, depending upon the water level, you got different types of flooded cover. These are called buckbrush here, which is common in a lot of lakes. Some areas have isolated cover, but the places I like are like this, guys. You can see all the way down through here, you got a lot of flooded cover. In addition to the flooded cover, if you look in there, see how you got like floating stuff laying in there. Sometimes you'll even have, like against the bank right there, see that sawdust against the bank? There's a lot of different diversity and cover through here in terms of for bass to hide around. There's a lot of shade, overhead shade, a lot of cover, proximity to deeper water. It's just a perfect situation for it. So what you have to determine when you're flipping here is, first thing, you have to determine where the bass are positioned at in the cover. Now, sometimes, even though you have some real thick cover like this, the bass will not be in the thick cover. They'll be on the edge of the cover. So sometimes you can pitch and flip right to the edge. You don't even have to flip inside of it. This is true a lot of times, especially if the water is marginal inside the bushes. Say, for example, you've got 12 or 15 inches of water. A lot of times they'll hang on the edge. But in relationship to the water clarity, the dirtier the water, the shallower the fish are going to get in. So in the situation we have here, we've got about a foot of visibility. Those bushes right there are in about 2 foot of water or so. So there's enough water in those bushes to hold fish. So what you have to look for is, every bush is going to be different. But the key area on any type of a bush is the base area. So you can see right there, the base of that tree, that is going to be a key area. That base area, one of the reasons it's so key is the fact that it opens a little bit, it offers some opening amongst the thick cover there. So most of the fish are going to be in and around that base when you're flipping bushes or any type of a flooded tree. But the main thing that you have to do is, when you're working down through here, you have to identify the position those fish are in the particular structure there. And again, this has to do with the water depth, the water clarity, and the complexity of the bush that you're fishing. Sometimes if the water's shallow out away from it, some of the outer limbs will have fish in it. It just depends. Shade is another key thing, guys. Anytime that you see a shady area in there, you always want to hit that shade, even if the water clarity is dirty. Shade is a really big factor with it. So the main thing is, when you're flipping an area like this coming down through here, you have to be slow and methodical with your presentation. You can't slop through this area. Put your trolling motor on low, work really, nice and slow and thorough, and try to look ahead a little bit. It's like, say for example, let's look at this place coming up right here. Let me give you a high percentage area, what I would look for. Okay, now in this particular area, I'm looking at my depth. The water is 5 foot deep right here, so it's probably 2.5 feet there. So in this particular area, I got some complexity. I got that root wad there. I got a limb there. My first pitch in this area is going to be right to that outer side in that overhanging limb there. It's not going to be in the root because the root's too shallow. And then I'll be hitting that, that root wad, obviously. That's a good piece of cover. And then my next cast, it's going to be right here. You can see that shade back in that particular piece of a bush. And then this is a really good example right here. This is some good thick cover. So what I'm going to look for is I'm looking for some openings back up underneath there, and I'm going to try to pitch my jig back in those openings in the shade. That's where those bigger fish are going to be setting up. Okay guys, when you're pitching and flipping, once you have the technique down, like let's assume that you are good with your trolling motor and you're good with your casting and you can flip and pitch good. That's just a basic. If you don't know how to pitch and flip good, guys, it's really easy to learn. Just get out there and spend some time doing it, practice with it. But one of the big considerations that you're going to have is the bait itself, the bait profile. Sometimes they want a full-size jig. Sometimes they want a dark jig. Sometimes they want a more subtle color like a brown or a green. Other times they don't want a jig. Sometimes they want a soft plastic like a brush hog or a creature bait, a beaver, a tube, a plastic worm, anything like that. Now, one of the most difficult parts of really refining a pitching and flipping pattern is to identify that bait profile and the bait color and the size of the weight. Because those bushes that we have back here, guys, all flip anything between an 1/8 ounce sinker to maybe a 3/4 ounce jig. It just depends on the mood and the personality of the bass. There's no really rhyme or reason on this. A lot of times you just have to experiment. Your light intensity, your water clarity, the depth of the water, the color of the water, it all factors in to the color of the bait that you're going to fish. But in general, and this is just a real foundation generality, if the water visibility is under about, say, 1.5 feet, I'm usually using some type of a dark color, a black and blue, a black, a June bug, a red bug, black and chartreuse, something along those lines. If the water visibility is like between 1.5 feet and, maybe 3 foot, then I'm going to be using something like, some type of a brown and orange, brown blue, brown purple. Some brown works really good in that zone. And if that water visibility is like over 3 feet, that's when I'm going to green pumpkin. And, some green pumpkin jig, green pumpkin trailer, green pumpkin soft plastic, maybe even watermelon. So that's pretty much a given on the water visibility like that. But the main thing, guys, is just when you're flipping and pitching, focus on accuracy, focus on stealth, focus on being quiet, and just work at a good pace. And once you get it down, guys, it's one of the funnest ways to catch bass. It's just super exciting. It's like close quarter combat. Nothing compares to a good flip and bite. So anyway, I hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.